Welcome back to NBC News Channel. The upcoming episode of Days of Our Lives on November 18, 2025 promises to deliver shocking encounters, romantic possibilities, and conversations that will leave viewers absolutely stunned by the dramatic turns taking place in this beloved soap opera. An unprecedented meeting of Sami's former flames. The most astonishing development occurs when three men who shared one very significant connection find themselves gathered together in what can only be described as the most awkward yet fascinating conversation Salem has witnessed in quite some time. Lucas Horton, portrayed by the talented Brian Dattilo, finds himself in an incredibly unlikely encounter with both Rafe Hernandez and EJ Demare, played respectively by Galen Gearing and Dan Furigal. What brings these three gentlemen together is their shared romantic history with none other than the whirlwind force of nature known as Sami Brady, played by the incomparable Allison Sweeney. The gathering takes place at the Salem pub, where the atmosphere becomes charged with an unusual energy as these three former lovers of Sami begin to hash out their complicated feelings. The catalyst for this extraordinary meeting stems from Sami's recent explosive visit to Salem, during which she dropped a bombshell announcement about her engagement to a Vitali family member after only 2 months of dating. This revelation sent shockwaves through the community and left her three exes reeling from the news. Lucas, who has maintained a particularly complicated on-again, off-again relationship with Sami over the years, finds himself questioning whether Sami's sudden engagement announcement was specifically designed to get under their skin and provoke a reaction from the men she once loved. The conversation between Lucas, Rafe, and EJ takes an unexpectedly honest turn as they begin to commiserate about the hurricane that Sami represented in all of their lives. Despite the chaos, drama, and emotional turmoil she brought into their world, these three men find themselves admitting something they rarely acknowledge even to themselves: they miss the excitement and passion that came with loving Sami Brady. Before this remarkable gathering, Lucas has a meaningful conversation with Roman Brady, portrayed by Josh Taylor, following the recent gala event that has been the talk of the town. This heart-to-heart discussion with Roman likely provides Lucas with additional perspective as he prepares to face his fellow Sami exes and confront the complicated emotions surrounding her latest life decision, a game that could change everything. Meanwhile, an entirely different kind of connection begins to blossom between two Salem residents who find themselves drawn together over an unexpected shared interest. Jada Hunter, brilliantly portrayed by Elia Cantu, accepts an invitation to go on a date with Theo Carver, played by the charming Tyler Joseph Andrews. This date comes at a particularly vulnerable time for Jada, who is still recovering from the disappointment of her previous romantic attempt. Her last date turned into a nightmare scenario that felt disturbingly familiar, almost like experiencing déjà vu from her painful past with Bobby, who was also known as Everett. The disastrous encounter occurred when Jada discovered that Jeremy Horton, played by Michael Rourke, had a complicated connection to her best friend Stephanie Johnson, portrayed by Abigail Klein. To make matters exponentially worse, Jada learned disturbing details about Jeremy's past actions towards Stephanie, which immediately killed any romantic interest she might have had. The experience left Jada questioning whether she would ever find a genuine connection with someone who didn't come with devastating baggage or connections to people in her inner circle. Now, as Jada prepares for her date with Theo, she approaches the situation with cautious optimism mixed with understandable wariness. The two decide to engage in a sophisticated game of chess, which serves as both an icebreaker and a window into each other's personalities. As they move the pieces across the board, strategizing and contemplating their next moves, an undeniable chemistry begins to emerge between them. The intellectual nature of the game allows them to showcase their wit, intelligence, and competitive spirits in a low-pressure environment. However, the question remains whether Jada and Theo will discover genuine romantic sparks during this chess match, or if this will prove to be another disappointing encounter in Jada's challenging dating journey. Tension between former brothers-in-law. In another corner of Salem, Xander Kyriakis, powerfully portrayed by Paul Telfer, makes a deliberate decision to pay a visit to Brady Black, played by the accomplished Eric Martsolf. This visit is far from a friendly social call, as the tension between these two men has reached a boiling point over recent developments involving someone they both care deeply about: Sarah Horton Kyriakis. Sarah, played by Lindsay Godfrey, has made the painful decision to divorce Xander, a choice that has left him devastated and grasping for any remaining connection to his wife and daughter. The situation becomes exponentially more complicated by the fact that Sarah has been spending considerable amounts of time with Brady during this difficult transitional period. Xander has been legally ordered by the court to maintain his distance from both Sarah and their young daughter, a restriction that fills him with rage and helplessness. Despite these legal boundaries, Xander cannot help but notice that Brady appears to be seamlessly slipping into the void that Xander left behind in Sarah's life. This observation ignites a dangerous fury within Xander, one that should concern everyone involved given his history of violent reactions when feeling threatened or betrayed. When Xander confronts Brady during this visit, the conversation quickly escalates into a tense exchange filled with accusations and barely contained hostility. Both men find themselves drawing lines in the sand over Sarah, each believing they have her best interests at heart while simultaneously pursuing their own emotional needs. Brady attempts to question Xander's intentions and behavior, while Xander fires back with his own pointed inquiries about Brady's sudden closeness to his estranged wife. The confrontation serves as a powder keg moment that could explode into something far more dangerous, especially considering Xander's past violent outbursts involving both Brady and Philip Kyriakis. The memory of what happened the last time Xander allowed his anger to control his actions, the very incident that contributed to his marriage falling apart, looms over this encounter. Like a dark cloud threatening to burst, Chad seeks understanding and support. Elsewhere in Salem, Chad DeMero, portrayed with emotional depth by Billy Flynn, finds himself overwhelmed by the mounting pressures in his life and desperately needs someone who will listen without judgment. He turns to Gabi Hernandez, played by Sherry Jimenez, to vent about the multiple crises threatening to tear apart everything he holds dear. Chad's life has become a minefield of complications, beginning with the devastating custody battle initiated by Jennifer Horton Devereaux, portrayed by Melissa Reeves. Jennifer has made clear her intention to take Chad's children away to Boston, a prospect that fills him with dread and determination to fight back with everything he has. Adding to Chad's emotional turmoil is his recent painful breakup with Kat Green, played by Annalyn McCord, which ended a relationship that was already built on complicated and deceptive foundations. The ongoing clash with Jennifer continues to escalate, creating an atmosphere of hostility that affects not just Chad but his entire family unit. When Chad seeks out Gabi for this crucial conversation, he's reaching for a connection with someone who understands him on a profound level. Their shared history is complex and layered with romantic feelings that developed during one of the many periods when Abigail was presumed dead. Since that time, Chad has attempted to move forward with various romantic partners including Stephanie Johnson, Gwen Rizet played by Emily O'Brien, and most recently Kat Green. Yet when Chad finds himself at his most vulnerable and needs a shoulder to cry on, he instinctively gravitates back toward Gabi. This pattern raises intriguing questions about whether Gabi represents unfinished business in Chad's heart, and whether she will allow him to burrow his way back into her affections once again. As Gabi listens to Chad's venting session, she faces a choice: will she provide the supportive guidance that steers him toward healthy decisions and positive outcomes? Or will her own complicated feelings for Chad cause her to fan the flames of his anger and potentially make the situation worse? Additional developments around Salem. The episode also features important conversations between Gabi and two significant men in her life, her brother Rafe and her confidant Chad. These discussions likely revolve around the various crises affecting their interconnected lives and the difficult decisions they all face moving forward. The web of relationships in Salem continues to tighten as characters find themselves navigating impossible situations while trying to protect their hearts and their families. As November 18th unfolds, Days of Our Lives delivers an episode packed with emotional confrontations, potential new romances, and conversations that will have lasting repercussions for everyone involved. The unlikely encounter between Sami's three exes promises moments of both humor and poignancy as they reflect on the woman who changed all their lives forever. Meanwhile, Jada and Theo's chess game date could mark the beginning of something beautiful or simply another disappointment in the complicated Salem dating scene. The mounting tension between Xander and Brady threatens to explode into violence at any moment, while Chad's vulnerability in front of Gabi might reignite feelings both have tried to suppress. These intertwining storylines showcase exactly why Days of Our Lives continues to captivate audiences with its perfect blend of drama, romance, and unexpected connections that keep viewers coming back for more day after day.